Well, today's episode of Call of Cthulhu, is, if you will, or Call of Cthulhu review, is actually an answer to a request from the guys I had the video chat with on Saturday night. A couple of them are asking. So what I'm going to take a look at today, we're going to examine today, is what in effect is the monster manual for Call of Cthulhu. The books themselves, the setting books, the uh, rule book, I have several different editions, have monsters already in them, have their own bestiary in them. However, if you want something a little more with a lot of fairly esoteric mythos creatures in there, this is the latest iteration of the monster manual, Malleus Monstrorum, with creatures, gods, and forbidden knowledge. The Holy Trinity, perhaps, of Cthulhu investigators. I don't know. Anyway, I uh, recommend this highly. It's $35. I have both the hard copy and the PDF. The PDF's pretty handy. Not only is it less expensive, but it also allows you to print out individual pages to work with the various creatures. And there are a lot of them in here. Scott David Anielowski, God, I got that name right. Scott, if I pronounced it wrong, yeah, well, you have the right to hit my reset button. Anyway, has been at this for a very long time. He published, there was a 2-volume set that came out, God, maybe 10 years ago. So it was very well done. He has done an excellent job on categorizing the creatures. This particular one, which has come out, and man, this cover is really striking. I like this. This has got to be, by the way, the ultimate, oh crap, moment in anyone's existence. Is, I wouldn't say the definitive edition because, there's things being added to this constantly, but it's probably very as good as you're going to get for a while, and it is plenty good. Now, you may, and I've talked about this before. Why do you give hit points to like Great Cthulhu? Well, in my opinion, you really don't. Kind of pointless because he's not really hit points. However, there are plenty of other like lesser servitor races or independent races that have not only hit points, but they don't cost that much sanity to see. 0/1d6 for things like Biakis or Typhonian beasts, even hunting horrors, Nyarlathotep, these large black serpent critters, aren't really that mind-shattering in terms of if you blow your sanity roll, you roll 1d, some of them you roll, you blow your sanity roll, and it's 1d 100 sanity point loss, which usually means most people are going to go permanently insane looking at the likes of Great Cthulhu or Yog-Sothoth. And hell, even if you make your sanity roll, it's 1d 20. You're using sanity points. So, those are pretty fearsome critters. But the bulk of these creatures can be dealt with. And usually if you can get by the initial sand check without, blowing your marbles, you can deal with them. And that's what's very important. And not only does he have the Cthulhu mythos monsters, he has got the gods of the dreamlands in here. He's got classical creatures. You ever really want to throw your players a curveball, then put them up against an old-fashioned vampire. Didn't have to have anything to do with the Cthulhu mythos. You really want to send him scurrying through the woods? Have him get stalked by a wolf pack. Yes, a regular wolf pack. Or something like that, or a large bear. It'd be pretty fierce. You may think, oh my God, these, we're facing ghouls. Yeah, well, try facing a 500, 600-pound grizzly, especially when you've endangered her cubs. You're going to wish you were facing ghouls. But, and this can be used for multiple purposes. It's very handy, very excellent. And David has done a wonderful job with this. This has been my go-to book for quite a while. It's beautifully illustrated because this originally came out in German and part of the, I believe, Pegasus Spiele or Pegasus games. I may be wrong. But the German versions, and I have seen prints and such from them, and the magazines, they put out magazines called World of Cthulhu, are just amazing with their graphics. People obviously take a great deal of time. Now that we've discussed this and looked at it, and I got to tell you, this is very, very important. This is a very good book. Get this. The PDF is from DriveThruRPG or from Chaosium, and I got this one straight from Chaosium. Now, the thing I do like about the PDF is you can go through it and you can go to an individual page or two and print it out, and there you've got your monster data for your campaign. You don't have to lug this around. And I would like to take a moment or so to talk about including monsters in your campaign. Everybody says, oh, we're going to play Call of Cthulhu. We're going to, have to deal with all these horrible creatures. I think if you really want to do it well, you keep the monster presence to a minimum. Even the lesser ones. Deal with cultists. Deal with the human cultists. Those guys can really be bad news to deal with. Yeah. Yeah, they can. And it is probably more fun to have to deal with the human cultists. Not only that, but comes a point where you hit the denouement. It's like the monster, classic horror movie. Oh, look, we're finally going to see the monster. And the descriptions in this book can act as a basis for your own description. Because you're going to have players that have read this. They're going to go, oh, look, it's a Byakhee. It's got X amount of this and this, and roll out the stats. And about that time, I probably reach across the table and smack the guy in the back of the head. Reset button. And it's really, these can provide basis. Well, what do we see? You see a Byakhee. Oh, no. You see them descending quietly from the sky. Strange, twisted creatures that are somehow look to be part insect, part corpse, perhaps. Fearsome and terrifying in their aspect. You have no idea what these are. What even makes it better is if you can find, and using the internet, it's not going to be that hard, pictures of various artists' interpretations of what these things look like. And do it as like a flashcard. Flash it up. Hey, this is what you see. What the hell is that? I don't know. Let it be surprising. That's the biggest thing. Let them meet these creatures with dread. I mean, I know one group that ran into them. I believe it actually was a Byakhee. And they had some pretty potent weapons with them. They had a couple of powerful handguns and stuff that could probably have taken this thing out. They didn't even think about it. They took one look at that picture. Oh, shit! And they turned and they ran like hell because they didn't know what it was. They had no idea whether or not a gun would work on it, and they didn't want to hang around to find out. That's when you know. That's when you know you've really hit the role-playing experience. And once again, this book will help. And as sort of an addendum, we're going to take a look, next time I do another Cthulhu review, at Cthulhu Invictus. Cthulhu Investigators in Ancient Rome, which, by the way, has its own rather unique set of monsters in the books. Until then, have fun, play games, and rock on, dudes and doodads.